Hey traders, how you doing? It's Dale here, and I've got a bit of a video newsletter update for what's going on with the new Battle Station update. First big change is that I made an MT5 version, so there's a few new things added with that. Nothing too dramatic. I'm just using the MetaQuotes MT5 at the moment until my broker gets it, but I basically use this as a development environment. So we go to the Battle Station, load it up. There's a few different minor changes in the input options because MT5, the advantage there is they offer a lot more time frames. So if you scroll down to the multi-time frame scanning section, we have more time frames available. So you'll have the ability to scan in parallel the 12-hour, 8-hour, 6-hour. We already have the 4-hour on MT4, but that's still there. And the 3-hour, the 2-hour, and the 1-hour, which was already there also. So we've got these extra time frames which we can basically, like if you're on the daily chart, you load the Battle Station on the daily chart, you can have all these time frames being scanned in parallel, so you don't have to open all these different time frames. So if any of your candlestick patterns or breakouts form on those time frames as well, you'll get the alerts just to keep things a bit more organized with your workspace. And if you scroll right down to the candlestick options, the advanced candlestick options, you can individually select that what patterns you want notified on what time frames. So if you don't want inside candles, you can turn individual time frames off here. This is all for the multi-time frame scanning, but we also have current time frame settings here as well. So whatever time frame you are on, you can turn that on and off as well. So there's a lot of granular control there, and that's basically all it's changed in the input options. Just a little bit of a rearrangement here to cater for the MT5 capabilities. You'll notice that I've actually turned off the 3-hour to 1-hour by default, so you won't get those alerts unless you change those here, because we don't want excessive alerts coming in. And to be honest, between the 1-hour and 3-hour, it may start to get a little bit spammy, so I'll leave that up to you if you want to turn that on. But 4-hour to 12-hour, we will get those alerts. And we load that up. And the other major change that I've made here is the trend filter. So I've removed the algorithm-based trend filter. Let's go to a new time frame. Let's go to the 8-hour chart. Okay, I love the 8-hour chart. It's a really nice time frame. So yeah, I've removed that algorithm-based one. It was working okay, but problem with the algorithm-based one is the market had to start moving and really start to develop into the trend before it really started to pick up and qualify that as a trend. So what I've done instead is go back to the input options. I've used a combination between the moving average filter, which is like a line in the sand filter. I'll show you in a second. And where are we? We've got to go down to quality control options here. So here's the trend filter here. So because it uses the moving average filter, this value will affect the trend filter. So by default, it's a 30 simple moving average. So if you don't like the trend filter using the simple moving average of 30, you can change it to whatever you want. You got to use this setting here. But 30, I found, is a pretty good setting. We'll load a 30 moving average on. A simple moving average, we'll make it a little bit thicker so you can see exactly what's going on. So now the trend filter works like this. Any bearish signal that basically forms under the line in the sand here, which is the moving average filter, will qualify as a bearish environment. So anything basically under the line in the sand is a bearish environment. Anything above is a bullish environment. So if a sell signal forms above the line in the sand, it will be knocked out by the trend filter. So it's very simple how it works, and it picks up trend changes much faster than the algorithm-based one at the current state of it. What about counter trend signals? So the problem with this is when you use a line in the sand filter like this, or a moving average filter, it's very difficult to determine what's a valid counter trend signal and what's not. So what I decided to do was leave that up to you. So whatever levels you've got marked on your chart, I think this will get picked up here. Just watch this candle here. I'm going to place a resistance level here. That one didn't qualify. Let's try somewhere else. If I can maybe this one here will. There we go. So what's happening now is the trend filter is using the levels that you've placed on your chart to identify critical turning points that you've marked as very important. So it will allow signals that do form off those levels to filter through, even if they're on the wrong side of the line in the sand. So you can see here we have a sell signal. It's on the bullish side of the 30 moving average here, or our line in the sand filter, but it's allowed to go through because we have a horizontal level marked here. So the battle stations picked that up, read your technical analysis, and said, okay, well, that's a major level that's been marked. We'll allow that to go through. So that's my way of kind of combating the problem with counter trend signals being filtered out. So all you really have to do is put the filter, or put the battle station on your chart. The moving average, or the line in the sand filter, will do its thing naturally, filter out those, or weed out those signals that we don't really want, those counter trendy kind of alerts that aren't really in a good position to be trading from, but it will allow the ones filtered through that are working off your technical analysis. So that doesn't just work off horizontal levels as well. We can use these box structures. Okay, that lit that up. Trend line should work too. There it goes, and we've got the breakout candle flags there as well for trend lines. And the triangle patterns should work also. MT5, you draw these a little bit differently like that, and there it goes. So any kind of interaction with your technical analysis, you'll get the signals filter through. That's the sort of clause with the moving average filter. If we go to the experts tab, you know, any problems that you have, you'll find here, but you will see the multi-time frame scanners. We've got it loaded on 12 hour, 8 hour, 6 hour, 4 hour, and so on, so on. And this was the latest alert. You can see the 8 hour is missing because we are on the 8 hour, and that's because we don't want to passively scan the 8 hour while we're on the 8 hour, because, you know, that's our current time frame. And that's basically it. That's the battle station update. Not too much, just some nice simple changes, just sort of reverting the trend filter back to a more simplistic approach. The algorithm was nice, but it really needs a lot of work, and this line in the sand just works so well, and combining it with your own technical analysis, you're pretty much going to get everything you need. And MT5 seems to be working well. I worked hard to transition it, so it's just a nice, you just load it on and everything's basically the same on MT5. If you go into your indicator options, you will see all the different colors in that. So MT5 has a few different things that are improved, like here we actually have the labels in the colors section here, which you don't have in MT4, and you can change the colors here if you want. And basically, yeah. Alright, so enjoy the battle station, guys, and don't forget to update your other tools as well in the tools pack, and I look forward to your feedback.